Welcome to another reading from Gauranga, the Golden Incarnation of Divine Love by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The festival of Madhavendra Puri at Shantipur. Somewhere along his journey, Lord Chaitanya stopped by the ashram of Advaita Acharya in Shantipur. It happened to be the day of Govinda Dwadashi, the Dwadashi before Gaura Purnima, which is when they have festival at Madhavendra Puri. Advait was disciple of Madhavendra Puri, so he arranged his massive feast and festival. The great saint Madhavendra Puri didn't like to walk on the public road because he might meet another sannyasi, and they gave him pain by calling him Narayan, saying, "We sannyasis are Narayan, we are all God." These sannyasis were Mayavadis. They all thought they were one with Brahman. Also, he met ordinary persons. They wanted blessings. They wanted blessings for nice money, nice health, good business, some kind of material blessings. Nobody was interested in spiritual life. They wanted to touch the feet of a sannyasi to get his spiritual credits to use for the material punya, for the pious results. But the real purpose, of course, is to approach a sannyasi guru for spiritual knowledge, to get transcendental wisdom from him, to get his spiritual shelter or shiksha. Seeing all this, Madhavendra Puri decided to walk by the side of Ganges. He was thinking, I will get the association of Ganges. Even if the place is dirty, it is better than getting disturbed by so many materialistic people. So then he happened to walk to Advaita Acharya's ashram, which was by the side of the Ganges. He walked right into his ashram. There Advaita Acharya was seated doing pujas to his Shaligram Shila. He was wearing Vaishnav Tilak, and he saw Madhavendra Puri, who was also wearing Vaishnav Tilak. Immediately he got up and paid his obeisances to Madhavendra Puri, who also offered his respects to Advaita Acharya. Madhavendra Puri was given a seat and offered some water. They were discussing Hari Katha, discussions about Krishna. They found that they were both Vaishnavas. They were discussing Krishna consciousness in a very deep way, in a beautiful way. In this way, time went very fast. Madhavendra Puri agreed to take some prasadam. Sita Thakurani offered nice Krishna prasadam. Quite some time had passed, so Advaita Acharya asked him, "Please stay here tonight and give us some more association. It is very rare to get such association." So like this, he stayed some time with Advaita Acharya, and they were discussing about Krishna. Then he said, "I have to go on in order to get sandalwood paste for the Gopal deity in Govardhan." Later this deity became known as Shri Nathji. Advaita Acharya, getting to know him, could realize his greatness, so he asked him to give him initiation. Normally there is a waiting period of 6 months to 1 year to get to know the person. But this time he was traveling sannyasi. He was not going to be there again in 6 months. He wanted to get the mantra from a bona fide spiritual master. He knew that he was a bona fide spiritual master. He knew that this was a bona fide person from a bona fide sampradaya. He was thinking, where will he get a devotee like Madhavendra Puri, who is personified love of God? So he took initiation. Lord Chaitanya was treating him with respect because he took initiation from the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, Ishwar Puri. So Advaita Acharya was like his god uncle. So he offered respect. But Advaita knew that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in hidden incarnation, so he wanted to offer Lord Chaitanya respect. But Lord Chaitanya wouldn't allow that because he was playing the external role as a devotee. It was not meant to be known publicly that he was an incarnation. Acharya would celebrate the Vyas Puja of Madhavendra Puri. Advaita Acharya would celebrate the Vyas Puja of Madhavendra Puri every year. And Lord Chaitanya said that if anyone goes to Shantipur at this tithi on this holy day and takes prasadam, they will get pure love for Govinda, pure devotion for Krishna. Lord Chaitanya saw the elaborate arrangement of Advait Gosai for worshipping Madhavendra Puri, and he saw all the different devotees. They were engaged in service. Each one said, I want to do some seva, some service. Nityananda volunteered to bathe the lotus feet of all the visiting Vaishnavas. This was the service he wanted. Ladies were making flower garlands and someone was giving a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam. Some devotees were doing kirtan and some were engaged in cooking. Sita Thakurani and Mother Shachi led the Mahaprasadam cooks. And then bulk quantities were cooked for the massive number of devotees. The ingredients they had gathered for the feast were kept in temporary sheds and the quantity was calculated by sheds. This many sheds of this many sheds of that. As Lord Chaitanya went around, he saw some devotees were singing, other devotees were making garlands, so everyone was engaged. Lord Chaitanya was saying that no human being could make such a massive arrangement like Advait Goswami had made for Madhavendra Puri. He said this is not humanly possible. Advaita must be an incarnation of Shiva or someone. Otherwise, how is it possible that he made such an elaborate arrangement for prasadam distribution? He was praising Advaita Gosai. Of course, Advait Goswami is an avatar of Mahavishnu. And he is also the combined form of Sadashiv, the form of Lord Shiva, before entering into the material world. Then they asked Lord Chaitanya to please come and take prasadam. He sat down and took prasadam and said, whoever takes the prasadam on this tithi in this place gets pure devotion for Govinda, pure love for Govinda. Lord Chaitanya said, where else you can get love for Godhead simply by eating, no fasting, no difficult austerities. You just have to come here on this tithi and eat. The father of the present head priest of the deity in Shantipur told me that a certain Vaishnav group had been performing this festival each year, but now they were not able to keep it up. He said, now ISKCON is the biggest Vaishnav organization in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, so you should kindly do this festival. That was 15 to 20 years ago, and we have been doing it since then. He told me, where else can you get Krishna consciousness simply by eating? Sanatan Goswami takes shelter of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi at the house of Chandrasekhar, and Sanatan Goswami was sitting outside. Lord Chaitanya said, there is a devotee who has come here to see me, go and get him. After travelling for a week with no eating and no sleeping, Sanatan's beard had grown out and he was wearing a Muslim blanket. Chandrasekhar looked out and said, no, there is no devotee there. The Lord said, is there anybody there? Looks like some Muslim mendicant sitting out there with a big beard but no devotee. So the Lord said, bring that Muslim in. So they brought Sanatan Goswami in and Lord Chaitanya embraced him. Sanatan said, no, don't touch me, I'm not pure. But Lord Chaitanya embraced him multiple times and both of them were profusely crying in ecstasy. After Sanatan Goswami bathed and cleaned up, he gave away his nice blanket for a simple blanket, and Lord Chaitanya was impressed by his austerity. Then they came together to have a discussion. Putting a straw in his mouth and bowing down, Sanatan Goswami clasped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and humbly said, I was born in a low family and my associates are all low-class men. I myself am fallen and I am the lowest of men. Indeed, I have passed my whole life fallen in the well of sinful materialism. I do not know what is beneficial for me or what is detrimental. Nonetheless, in ordinary dealings, people consider me a learned scholar, and I am also thinking of myself as such. Out of your causeless mercy, you have delivered me from the materialistic path. Now, by the same causeless mercy, please tell me what is my duty. Please tell me who I am, and why do threefold miseries always give me trouble? If I do not know this, how can I be benefited? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Lord Krishna has bestowed his full mercy upon you so that all these things are known to you. For you, the threefold miseries certainly do not exist. Since you possess Lord Krishna's potency, you know these things. However, it is the duty of a sadhu to inquire. Although he knows these things, the sadhu inquires for the sake of strictness. Here Lord Chaitanya says that Sanatan Goswami probably knows the answers to these questions, but he simply humbly presents himself and asks the question, because hearing from Lord Chaitanya, he will get a more concise response. He is showing how you should hear spiritual topics repeatedly. Even if you heard it before, you should hear it again and again, because the more you hear about Krishna, the more you can see new angles of vision and gain deeper understandings. Lord Chaitanya told Sanatan that he was fit to propagate the movement of devotional service and that he would gradually reveal all the truths to him. The Lord then said, Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nitya Dasa Krishnera Tatastha Shakti Bheda Bheda Prakasha. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 21 and verse number 108. It is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because he is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. This first line is the one of the fundamental truths of our Krishna consciousness movement, that it is the constitutional position of the living entity to be an eternal servant of Krishna. Sanatan and Rup Goswami are considered to be the most humble devotees. Imagine a prime minister taking a straw in his mouth and grabbing the feet of a sadhu and saying, I'm a fool, I'm a lowborn, I have no qualification, please give me spiritual education. Sanatan Goswami was a prime minister and he fell at Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet and prayed for the Lord's mercy. That's when he got initiated as Sanatan. Later, he was still exhibiting the same humility. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said, you are fit to propagate Krishna consciousness and I will impart to you the truth. Lord Chaitanya is carried away by the ocean. While he was living in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu floated all day and night in an ocean of separation from Krishna. During one night of the autumn season, when the full moon brightened everything, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered all night long with his devotees. He walked from garden to garden, seeing the pastimes of Lord Krishna and hearing and reciting songs and verses concerning the Rasa Leela. He sang and danced in ecstatic love and sometimes imitated the Rasa dance in emotional ecstasy. He sometimes ran here and there in the madness of ecstasy and sometimes fell and rolled on the ground. Sometimes he became completely unconscious. When the Lord heard Swarup Damodar recite a verse concerning the Rasa Leela, or he himself recited one, he would personally explain it. And in this way, he explained the meaning of all the verses concerning the Rasa Leela. Sometimes he would be very sad and sometimes very happy. The author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, explained that so as not to increase the size of the book, he has not written about all the pastimes of Krishna, of the Lord, but has only described them in brief. To explain fully all those verses and all the transformations that took place in the Lord's body would require a very large volume, for he performed them every moment of the day for 12 years. If Ananta with his 1,000 hoods tried to describe even one day's pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would find it impossible to describe them fully. If Ganesha, Lord Shiva's son, and the expert scribe of the demigods tried to tried for millions of millenniums to fully describe one day of Lord's pastime, he would be unable to find their limit. Even Lord Krishna is struck with wonder at seeing the transformation of ecstasy in his devotees. If Krishna cannot estimate the limits of such emotions, how could others? Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami goes on to explain how the ecstasies of Krishna Bhakti are so deep. So during one night of autumn, Lord Chaitanya was wandering near the temple of Ayatota, which is a temple of Hanuman. Brightened by the shining light of the moon, the high waves of the sea glittered like the waters of the river Yamuna. Mistaking the sea for Yamuna, the Lord ran swiftly and jumped into the water unseen by the devotees. Falling into the sea, he lost consciousness and could not understand where he was. Sometimes he sank beneath the waves and sometimes he floated above them. The waves carried him here and there like a piece of dry wood, keeping the Lord sometimes submerged and sometimes afloat. The waves carried him towards the Konark temple. Konark, generally known as Arkatirtha, is a temple of Lord Surya, the sun god, and is situated on the seashore 19 miles north of Jagannath Puri. Lord Chaitanya was totally absorbed in remembering the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. While he was floating in the ocean, meanwhile all the devotees were looking around, saying, "Where is Lord Chaitanya? Where is he?" They were looking everywhere. "Where is Gauranga?" They were crying out, "Kahan gela Prabhu? Kahan gela Prabhu? Where did you go? Where did you go?" Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had run off at the speed of mind towards the ocean and no one could see him. Thus everyone was puzzled as to his whereabouts. They were saying, "Has the Lord gone to the temple of Jagannath or has he fallen down in the madness in some garden? Perhaps he went to the Gundicha temple or to Lake Narendra or to the Chatak Parvat. Maybe he went to the temple at Konark." Talking like this, the devotees wandered here and there looking for the Lord. Finally, they came to the shore, accompanied by many others. While they were searching for the Lord, the night ended, and thus they all decided, "Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has now disappeared." In separation from the Lord, everyone felt as though they had lost their very life. The devotees concluded that there must have been some mishap. They could not think of anything else. Anishta Shankini Bandhu Hridayani Bhavantihi. A relative or intimate friend is always fearful of some injury to his beloved. When they arrived at the seashore, they conferred among themselves. Then some of them sought out Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Chatak Parvat, and Swarup Damodar proceeded east with others, looking for the Lord on the beach or in the water. Everyone was overwhelmed with moroseness and almost unconscious. But out of ecstatic love, they continued to wander here and there, searching for the Lord. Passing along the beach, they saw the fisherman approaching with his net over his shoulder. Laughing, crying, dancing, and singing, he kept repeating the holy name, Hari Hari. Everyone was astonished. "What is wrong with this fisherman? He is laughing and dancing and chanting Hari Hari." So they asked, "My dear fisherman, why are you behaving like this? What happened to you? Have you seen anybody around here? What is the cause of your behavior? Tell us." The fisherman replied, "I haven't seen a single person here. I am lone fisherman. But I was casting my net in the water. I captured a dead body. I lifted it with great care, thinking it to be a fish. But as soon as I saw this corpse, great fear came to my mind. I tried to release the net, but I touched the body. As soon as I touched it, a ghost entered into me. I shivered in fear and shed tears. My voice faltered and all the hairs on my body stood up. I don't know whether the corpse I found was the ghost of a dead Brahman or an ordinary man, but as soon as one looks upon it, the ghost enters his body. The body of this ghost is very long, 5 to 7 cubits, that is about 7 to 10 feet long. Each of its arms and legs is as much as 3 cubits long. Its joints are all separated beneath the skin, which is completely slack. No one could see it and remain alive. The ghost has taken the form of a corpse, but he keeps his eyes open. Sometimes he utters the sound, gone, gone, and sometimes he remains unconscious. I have seen that ghost directly and it is haunting me. But if I die, who will take care of my wife and children? Hurry, hurry, hurry. The ghost is certainly very difficult to talk about, but I am going to find an exorcist and ask him if he can release me from it. I wander alone at night, killing fish in solitary places. But because I remember the hymn to Lord Nrsimha, ghosts do not touch me. This ghost, however, overcomes me with redoubled strength, and I chant the Nrsimha mantra. When I even see the form of this ghost, great fear arises in my mind. Do not go near it. I forbid you. If you go, that ghost will catch you. Hearing this, Swarup Damodar could understand the full truth of the matter. He spoke sweetly to the fisherman. I am famous exorcist, a ghostbuster, he said, and I know how to rid of this ghost. He then chanted some mantras and placed his hand on the top of the fisherman's hand, then slapped the fisherman 3 times and said, now the ghost has gone away. Do not be afraid. By saying this, he pacified the fisherman. The fisherman was affected by ecstatic love, but he was also fearful. He had thus become doubly agitated. Now that his fear had subsided, however, he had become somewhat normal. Swarup Damodar said to the fisherman, my dear sir, the person you are thinking is a ghost is not actually a ghost, but is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because of ecstatic love, the Lord fell into the sea, and you have caught him in your net and rescued him. Simply by touching him has awakened your dormant love for Krishna. But because you thought him a ghost, you were very much afraid of him. Now that your fear has gone and your mind is peaceful, please show me where he is. The fisherman replied, I have seen the Lord many times, but this is not he. This body is very much deformed. Swarup Damodar said, the Lord's body becomes transformed in his love for God. Sometimes the joints of his bones separate and his body becomes very much elongated. Hearing this, the fisherman became very happy. He brought all the devotees with him and showed them Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord was lying on the ground. His body was elongated and bleached white by the water. He was covered from head to toe with sand. The Lord's body was stretched and his skin was slack and hanging loose. To lift him and take him the long distance home would have been impossible. The devotees removed his wet undergarment and replaced it with a dry one. Then, laying the Lord on an outer cloth, they cleaned the sand from his body. Then they all performed Sankirtan, loudly chanting the holy name of Krishna into the Lord's ear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. After some time, the sound of the holy name entered the ear of the Lord, and he immediately got up, making a great noise. As soon as he got up, his bones assumed their proper places. With half external consciousness, the Lord looked here and there. The Lord remained in one of the 3 different states of consciousness at all times: internal, external, and half external. When the Lord was deeply absorbed in internal consciousness, but he nevertheless exhibited some external consciousness, devotees call this condition half external consciousness. So half external consciousness is when the Lord was deeply absorbed in internal consciousness, but he nevertheless exhibited some external consciousness. This was half external consciousness. In this half external consciousness, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talked like a madman. The devotees could distinctly see him speaking to the ground, to the sky. Lord Chaitanya explained how he went to the river Yamuna and saw Krishna with the gopis headed by Radharani and stood on the bank of Yamuna in the company of the gopis. One gopi was showing him, look at Radha and Krishna's pastime in the water. Then the gopis put on white cloth and went into the Yamuna. Lord Chaitanya was explaining all about the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. He was transported to Golok Vrindavan, where he was observing all these amazing pastimes. Krishna displayed the two ornaments of hyperbole and reverse analogy. Tasting them brought gladness to my mind and fully satisfied my ears and eyes. When Lord Chaitanya came to his external consciousness, he said, "What happened? Why did you bring me here? I was having such a great time with Krishna in Vrindavan." The devotees explained, "You mistook the ocean for Yamuna and jumped into the ocean. The fisherman caught you in his net and rescued you from the water. Because of your touch, she received ecstatic love for God. We are looking the whole night trying to find you. We came here and found you. We saw you unconscious, and you were witnessing the pastimes of Vrindavan. When we saw you were unconscious, there was great suffering and agony in our minds, so we chanted the holy names of Krishna, and you became semi-conscious. Then you began to speak like a madman about Krishna's pastimes." Lord Chaitanya said, "Yes, in my dream I went to Vrindavan. I saw Lord Krishna performing the rasa dance and the gopis sporting in the water. I could not stand after seeing this. Certainly I talked like a madman." Then Swarup Damodar requested the Lord to bathe in the sea and brought him back home. So we will finish the last reading of this book tomorrow. Hare Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.